What devalues a home the most in the Twin Cities? Well, there's a few things that are going to plummet the sales price of your house if you don't keep up with them or if you let happen to your house. Josh, what are some of the things you see out there that go, hey, this is going to really tank the price of this house?
The biggest thing I tend to see is condition. Condition matters probably the most. Yes, we can be outdated, but still in good condition versus we're outdated and the carpet has clear walk paths through it, inch of dust on a light
Smoke.
Yep.
It smells bad.
Yep.
It looks bad. It is bad.
Right.
That's what it is. I think if your house is cluttered, stinky, and dirty, you can devalue the nicest house.
You're not getting top dollar.
You are not getting anywhere near it. You can take a $700,000 new construction house, put some smoke in it, make it dirty, list that house the next day,
and throw a bunch of junk in there, and you're going to sell it for $600.
Yeah, you could literally devalue that by $50,000, even though you didn't do anything. That inspection report could look the exact same, but literally that is probably the easiest way to devalue a house.
I've seen it a few times where the house just purchased a year ago and it doesn't look like it did when they bought it, but they're still expecting that or greater in sales price. And it just because you didn't keep up condition and maintenance, you've brought the value of that down. That is a giant factor.
Huge. And I think the other thing to look at is this idea of unnecessary upgrades. And I don't know if it's necessarily a devalue, but like you don't get the same dollar out when you do this. It's like, hey, we put on a $200,000 addition. And it's like, well, now the layout's a little bit different. I know you might be the same square footage as the house with a foundation size of X kind of thing, but I think that some of those things you don't always get the same return on your investment, which is
generally your things you have to have, your furnace, your roof, your siding. You're generally not going to get the full investment out of that. People expect the roof to be there. Septic is a big thing that we deal with in the Northeast Twin Cities because acreage properties, and the seller's like, well, I just put a brand new septic in. It's like the buyer doesn't care. They just want to be able to go flush the toilet.
They expected this to work before they got here.
Correct. That's a thing that doesn't add the value. Things that do trendy finishes to bring the house to today's times. That's a lot of time when I tell buyers, what are we seeing in the marketplace? What's selling? Grays were in, now it's turned into more gray white or a beige. Nickel was in, now it's oil rub bronze or the brushed nickel. It just things are changing slightly, and just changing with those times helps that part.
But I think another thing that will devalue your property is the things that are expected to be there when they're not. That's the thing. When it's like, I was expecting a furnace to be here and the furnace literally isn't working, that's a thing. That's going to devalue your property a lot.
Or
right?
I don't have AC. Yeah, I have a furnace, but I don't have AC. Or I have an old boiler. I have heat, but it's not what we're expecting with that style of house.
Yeah. Or, hey, I was expecting a roof, but it's like, the roof's leaking, or it's really, really old. It's like, I didn't even think of that. That's going to devalue a house. The cost of somebody to do that, to fix that, is probably more than they can afford in certain price ranges. I think that's the thing to look at. It's like, nobody at $350,000 and under can afford to put on a roof the next day typically.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
But if your roof is in that bad of shape, that's going to devalue your property. You're going to have to fit it into a price range or that would work for somebody.
Right. And that's why condition and maintenance are the biggest things that will drive factors in your house beyond the upgraded cosmetic finishes. But making sure it's clean. You and I have talked about many times before, we can walk into a house and look at their workbench and see that their tools are all organized. The wrenches are all hanging where they're supposed to be. This house has been properly maintained and looks the part.
Yeah. And I think the other thing to realize is things about the location that you can't change. People buy houses for the lifestyle, for the feeling that house gets. When you back up to a Walmart parking lot,
railroad tracks,
an office building, a garbage center, just like those things, like that changes the look and feel of how you feel when you're in that house.
You take that house and place it somewhere else in the neighborhood, their prices are going to be different for sure.
100%.
Busy freeways, that's another one that you back up to a major highway or a busier highway, that devalues you if you were somewhere else in that same neighborhood.
I think also a good point to point out right now is when we're in this 2026 market where inventory has been as low as it's been for a while, those houses don't get devalued as much as they should because options are so limited. When it comes to living on a really busy road where it's like hard to get in and out of the driveway, that's my only option at $325. As soon as 10 other houses are listed, I'll buy the other 8 before I get to this house. So I think that there is this little bit of a change in the market of that isn't as important right now because of the lack of inventory we have, but something to keep an eye on to where it goes 10 years from now when there's 10 houses listed just like yours is on a busy road, theirs is on a cul-de-sac. Cul-de-sac is the option every single time.
Right. That price gap
10
years from now is going to be much different than it is today because of supply and demand. The number of options the buyers has is so limited. limited right now, where in 10 years that may be different. Whenever the market changes, I guess, whether that's 10 years, I'm not saying the market's changing in 10 years, but whenever that market, that supply and demand does change, yes, that gap is going to get bigger than it is now. Right now, that gap is smaller of busy highway compared to not, because the only option is the busy highway, so I'm going to take that one.
When it comes to your house being devalued, number one thing, keep up maintenance. Take good care of your house. Update the things that need to be updated. Fix the things properly that need to be fixed. Before you waste thousands of dollars on unnecessary updates, click the link below to get access to our 2026 Sell Smart, Buy Smart strategy plan to help you make the right decision.